Your injury was pretty different, and then we don't really see it like that. But when you came in, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Do you mind sharing that a little bit?
It happened at the end of regulation, though. I went to full length of the court, and as I was getting out the way, my man kind of was getting back into play, and I kind of like not so much stepped on his foot, but my foot did like a weird turn in and like jammed into the floor, with like a lot of force. And pretty much after that, even if you watch the video, I was kind of like hopping after. I was in pain, and I kind of ran down and came back up. I ended up that swelling on the right side of my leg ended up really swelling up badly. I want to say like an hour after we finished playing, and after that I just was in like pain. Like I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand. After that, 3 to 4 months in, that's kind of when I came back to Jersey, looking for a facility. A good family friend with Brandon Simon, so he mentioned Myokinetix. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see what's up. Man, my first visit, I just felt, the genuine caring, here, and that like, nah, you gonna get through this. Like, it's dark right now, but you gonna get through this.
All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of the Myokinetix podcast. Today we have an awesome athlete who's been working with us, and I'm just so happy to have him on here just to share some insight, what he went through with his rehab, and also some issue he faced with the NCAA, especially getting some extra years and not getting some extra years, but how is he able to handle, pivoting in order to just keep, pursuing his dream in playing in the NBA. So, Ibn Williams, welcome to the show, man.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, thankful, for Natty having me on here, and just thankful, just have a great conversation, and, get some gems out there.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. So let's talk about your background, bro. Like, so obviously, big basketball guy. So were you always a Jersey guy? So like, what was your upbringing
so
like?
Jersey, I lived in Jersey, most of my life, but high school wise, I went to 4 different high schools.
Okay.
I started off at North Star Academy. I was able to play like my first 3 games of my freshman season. Then it got canceled, unforeseen circumstances. I transferred my sophomore year, but if Jersey has a transfer rule. So if you transfer in the same
year,
not the same year, but the same county, like district, you have to sit 8 games. So I transferred to North 13th Street Tech, which is now Payne Tech. My sophomore year, I had to sit the first 8 games, played the rest of that season, ended up making like second team all conference. So ended the season on a good note. And then after that, I transferred to St. Anthony's for my junior season. That junior year, I didn't really play much. I was playing behind RJ Cole. He committed to Howard and then transferred to UConn. But that was kind of really just like a groom year for me, kind of learning the ropes, learning the system. Legendary coach, Hall of Fame coach Bob Early, learned a lot that year, definitely. And was kind of excited, to finish my senior season there. But unfortunately, after my junior season, the school closed down. So, so after the school closed down, I was in the process of like, I was actually gonna reclass, but I ended up not going to a prep school. I ended up going to PG County, Maryland, and playing in the WCAC conference at Bishop McNamara. So we played schools like the Matha, Paula VI, St. John's, a lot of big time schools. They say that conference produces, one of the most Division I athletes. So it was definitely, it was no off nights.
Yeah.
So that senior season, I averaged around 17. So I had a pretty good season. Ended up getting the Division I offer from Coppin State. So after that, I was considering going to prep, because I had some other interests from some mid majors and some high majors, like Georgetown, Virginia Tech, George Washington, and American. But they kind of wanted to just see another year of me doing what I did that previous year. I ended up committing to Coppin. Me and a buddy of mine actually ended up committing to Coppin, Nigel Marshall. So it was kind of just cool because we had already went to pretty much after freshman year, we went to every school together.
Yeah.
So it was just pretty
Shout out to
cool.
Nigel, one of the funniest guy I met.
Man,
That guy's a character, bro.
If you know, you know. But yeah, it was just pretty cool, to like, we both got offered by the same school, and it was D1, so I just kind of went with it, Ended up doing my first 2 seasons there. During COVID, I had a lot of family. I don't call it drama, but I had some death in the family. So I went home, kind of like 2 weeks after preseason. Turns out I ended up not coming back the spring semester.
Oh, man.
So I just finished my fall semester there and everything. And I'm gonna say through spring to later in that fall of 2021, I was kind of in the transfer portal. And as you know, that was kind of one of the first times the transfer portal really was like, man, it was like 1,300 athletes in there.
It was jumping. It was a lot.
Literally. So, recruitment was tough, especially with me not even having, recent film, so to speak. So I ended up lucking up one of my old AAU coaches with New York Jayhawks, Jay David. He ended up knowing a coach who had just got a job at Morehouse. So that kind of worked out. They needed a point guard, but they offered me kind of midway through the fall semester. So I couldn't enroll for that semester yet. So I missed the first 10 games of that season. And I came down there. I went to Atlanta in about December, was doing some workouts, practicing with the team. And my first game with them was January. January. And I played the rest of the season there. Man, it kind of felt like, I haven't went overseas yet, but it kind of felt like how a lot of guys explain it. You kind of just jumping right in to a lot of teams when you play over the water. But with this was college. I literally came, practiced with the team like 2 times, got thrown right on the court. So, definitely thankful for that experience. But if I could do it over, I would have definitely just sat, got more comfortable with the school, more comfortable with the coaches, just the environment alone, just to see what I'm really dealing with. But nevertheless, we lost our very first game that I played. And then after that, we went on an 18-game winning streak.
Crazy.
Up into the semifinals. It was pretty much like, made up in our minds that we were going to win a conference that season. But we ended up coming up short in the semifinal game, lost by 1. We shot it poorly, but that's water under the bridge. But we ended up losing by 1, and that was that season. So in this moment, my family and I were still under the impression that that year wasn't necessarily going to count as a full season, but it ended up counting as a full season. But I didn't know that until after the fact, after the next season. So going into that 22-23 season, actually, so the coach that basically that I got put in contact with by my old AAU coach, he ended up leaving and going to it's a rival school of ours, Clark Atlanta.
Well, when you do well,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do for your family at the end of the day. But it was just kind of like, man, like, but like I said, he ended up leaving, going to our rival school, and I stayed at Morehouse. So at this point, just went throughout the 22-23 season. We had an okay year. We finished over 500, like 18-10. But we did win our regular season again. So won that back-to-back years, and then ended up coming up short again in the semifinals. I ain't gonna get into it, man, but they like definitely was some cheating going on, but
that's
go ahead.
Welcome to sport, right? I mean, that's how it is.
Right.
When you play very competitive, I want to go back, dude. Like the fact that you got 2 practices and you got thrown in right away. I think that speaks really highly about your ability to adapt, right? Because at the end of the day, when all the athletes are listening to this, like your best ability is your availability. Exactly. If you're available and you can help the team and you can help them immediately, that's where you're gonna demonstrate your value, right? So sometimes like sometimes kids think they need to like, oh, I need my time. I need to build up. I need to do this and that. Like, bro, sometimes it's not on you.
It's not. It's not.
You know, they don't recruit you in an ideal world, you want to sit, you want to learn the system, you want to do this and that. But when it's go time, it's go time.
It is.
How do you adapt to that? Like knowing that you only had 2 practices in and you're going to get your start.
So with that, I kind of just, honestly, I just approached it like, you know, I've been playing basketball my whole life. You know? Obviously, you know, I didn't know a lot of the, you know, teammates, you know, that I was playing with, but I just, you know, it's something called, not something called, but I just tried to over communicate, you know, off the court, on the court, on both ends of the ball, you know, just little things, you know, just so we could learn each other's mannerisms quicker, you know, so that was big. And then also just establishing, you know, kind of that, not so much business, but kind of like young adult relationship with my coaching staff. You know, obviously, you know, we're athletes, we're being recruited there, you know, to win. You know, that's the main goal. But also just establishing, you know, a relationship, you know, as men, you know, with the coaches. So that was big. That was big time. And then kind of just, man, I don't mean to gloat, but I'm a likable guy. You know, you know, it's never really, you know, a lot of confrontation. You know, I just focused on how I can enhance any situation. That's how I approach everything. So I think just having that approach and just, you know, making sure I over communicate on different aspects. I think it just kind of made the move, you know, smooth sailing. Yeah,
I mean, if you look at it, right? So when team are trying to make a playoff push, and I think the biggest one was back in the day when Jeremy Lins came off the bench, right? I mean, that was one of the most phenomenal period of like the New York Knicks history.
Literally.
And he just came out of nowhere and then just took the whole team by the storm. Melo was out, Stoudemire was out. He was the only guy, right? So I think you're doing that was kind of like a pivotal moment for the team because you guys went on a 18-game run.
And I didn't even mention this, but at that point when me and another Division I transfer, Noah Morgan from Eastern Michigan came in. So, you know, that was a lot of good experience, you know, for the team. But at that point in the season, the team was like 3-6. You know, so and they were just going through a lot of you know, growing pains. Yeah. You know, it was a new team. It was their first year off COVID. You know, so a lot of those things. So we just kind of brought that, you know, that sense of urgency and just you know, the fun of the game, you know, back. Like let's move, let's have fun. You know, at the end of the day. So you know, us bringing that back, we just kind of it got contagious. Yeah. You know, and then I say this all the time. It started off as, you know, me and Noah kind of coming in and playing kind of like, I want to say like 30 minutes plus. Man, midway, not even midway, but halfway through the season being over, man, we were doing the platoon system. 5-on-5 because like kind of we had grew to be that good, you know, to where we could do that. So
yeah, I think it's good. Like, so winning is contagious, but same thing as losing. Right? Once you're on that losing streak, bro, it's so hard to climb back up. I was fortunate enough to work with one of the linemen for the Buccaneers, and he was there pre-Tom Brady and then post-Tom Brady. And I was asking, like, hey, man, how was it when Brady walked in to the room? What was it like? He was like, it felt like the ceiling just blew off. And everyone believes and everything else just grew tremendously. And then he came in, he raised the standard. Now everyone has some sort of positive momentum to know that they can win. Right. And that's the year that they won the Super Bowl, right post of New England. And then he was saying, like, Brady would come in, he'll show up early, he'll leave late. And then, you know, when the way he command the line, he's be able to like over communicate, like you said, like he over communicate everything because these are brand new teams that he's playing with. So I think it is always good to over communicate, especially in a team sport. Right. At the end of the day, you're just playing ball. If you're having fun and you communicate and you get everybody to buy into what you're doing, whether it's you and your other teammate and then everyone and then the next person coming in. Same thing as that Kobe story, right? Like with the Redeem team, when guys coming back from the club at 3 a.m., Kobe's going into the gym.
Workout.
Yep. So like when people see that, like you have two options, right? So if you're putting in the work, I'm your teammate. I have two options. I say, am I gonna go with Ibn to go work out with him, or am I just gonna sit my ass down and do nothing,
Right.
and then just ride the coattail of the team, right? I think at the end of the day, we're all competitive in some way. We want to be an active player in any single opportunity that we're given. And I mean, listen, man, you grind that whole 18 games. I mean, wish, ended up with some injury that's how we met.
Right.
And I mean, your injury was pretty different, and then we don't really see it like that. But when you came in, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Do you mind sharing that a little bit?
No, I got you. So that injury happened the next season, in the 22-23 season, when we went 18-10. But it happened in the semifinals game, double overtime game. It happened at the end of regulation though. I went the full length of the court. It was a play we were just working on earlier in shoot around 2. It was like 7 seconds left. Went the full length of the court, ended up dropping it down, and my buddy Kerry Richardson, he went up, and as he went up, I tried to slide out the way because his defender stepped up to me. So I shovel past it to him, and as I was getting out the way, my man kind of was getting back into play, and I kind of not so much stepped on his foot, but my foot did like a weird turn in and jammed into the floor, with like a lot of force. And pretty much after that, even if you watch the video, I was kind of like hopping after, and it could have been perceived for me hopping because he missed his first layup, got his rebound, and made the second layup. So it could have been perceived, I was hopping we won. But it wasn't. I was in pain, and I kind of ran down and came back up. But obviously at that time, that was the end of regulation. We were going to overtime. Man, it's game time at that time. I'm not about to sit down now, even though I was in excruciating pain. Even at that time, I was. So I definitely think even me playing on it for 2 overtimes, kind of elevated kind of the injury in a sense. But that's neither here or there. But I ended up that swelling on the right side of my leg ended up really swelling up badly. I want to say like an hour after we finished playing. And after that, I just was in like pain. Like I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand. I tried putting ice on it, that wasn't working. I was going through some my foot was hot, my foot was cold. I was feeling a lot of tingling. I just didn't know what was going on. So I contacted our athletic trainer, and I just told him I need to go to the ER right now. Took me to the emergency room. They thought it was something called compartment syndrome, which that's not a bad assumption. But when I ended up coming back to Atlanta and being able to go to Emory to get checked out by the doctors over there, ended up coming back that the swelling on the right side of my leg, it was suffocating, my perineal nerve, which is a nerve that leads different pathways in my foot. It damaged one of those pathways. So I wasn't getting like the signals for the feeling, kind of up to my leg and kind of in my tib area. So throughout that, I want to say the first 3 to 4 months, it was hard kind of, just doing the basics again. Standing, walking. I had to wear a brace, because I couldn't, support my foot.
Yeah, because you had foot drop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had foot drop, so I had to wear a brace, to support it and everything. So it was real discouraging. I'm not gonna lie, especially because, like I said, it was just a lot of basic, daily things that I, kind of took for granted.
Yeah.
It kind of made me grateful for a lot of those basic things. But after that, 3 to 4 months in, that's kind of when I came back to Jersey, looking for a facility. A good family friend with Brandon Simon, so he mentioned Myokinetix. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see what's up. Man, my first visit, I just felt, the genuine caring, here, and that nah, you gonna get through this. It's dark right now, but you gonna get through this. So, just the time alone I had here with you guys, it was definitely transformative, man. Not just obviously, getting me right physically, but my mental as well. Timely humor. just sharing your experiences, just, really kind of rejuvenating me in a sense. Shout out to my guy, Matt, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So.
No, dude, I mean, what you went through, it was, so like with foot drop, for people who don't know, it's like you usually get foot drop, you have like a stroke, right? So it's like where like you literally cannot lift up your toes. And obviously playing your sport, that's extremely important. And the reason why it was such a unique injury is because there's a little bit of compartment syndrome in there where it's compressed the nerve having a hard time firing up. So like, I mean, we all were just kind of like perplexed by it, to be honest, bro, because I've seen it in like in a neural setting where like, people post stroke. Yeah, I can get that. But like with sport injury, I'm like, oh wow, that's
in game. Yeah. In game. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of and I wasn't looking at it like blaming anybody, but that didn't make me feel great either. Just communicating with a lot of professionals, like, oh my, this is a unique injury. Like, we never really encountered this. I'm like, man, like, what's the odds that like my first real injury? Because I've never really been injured, throughout my career. I dealt with some sprains, little stuff here and there, but never really real injury that forced me to sit down for this much time, so that definitely had me really, really anxious, really, really anxious.
Well, I mean, bro, like basic stuff like walking.
Yeah.
You weren't able to do that. I remember just all of us sitting down collectively, just figuring it out. Like, okay, what are we gonna do? We tried many, many things. We obviously we did some shockwave.
Mm-hmm.
We did some needling to get some of the activation back, and then I think after like a few weeks, like you made a huge turn.
Yeah.
I think I remember the first time where you were able to like lift your toes.
Right.
Like,
I was so happy. Yeah. I was so happy. So happy.
Yeah, man. And it's one of those things where injury gave us an opportunity to realize like so many things that we take for granted. Like basic function. And then not even about basketball, about just being able to just live life. Right? So talk me through about the way that you started building your confidence back of not being on the court for a while. Like, how do you slowly ease your way back in?
So I slowly kind of eased my way back in. Throughout that whole time I was down, I watched my whole season. Like, I watched like game film, all those games, like about probably like 10 plus times. Mm-hmm. Just studying my movements. Seeing where I could move more efficiently, seeing where I could minimize, certain, sharp movements that kind of, would cause me pain or, cause me pain after the fact. Cause, you don't feel it right then and there. But, watching that, obviously, also watching from a basketball standpoint, to see, what I could have did in this play.
Maybe I could have made a pocket pass or, things in that nature. But I watched a ton of film. And I also just, I kind of got really deeply rooted, I was born into Islamic family, but my father never really pushed it on me. He kind of let me come around into it on my own. So I was definitely thankful for that. But in this time, I kind of got more deeply rooted into my faith. So that helped me a ton as well. I'm gonna cite this. I'm gonna cite something from the Quran. It says, "What is going is better. What is coming is better than what is going." And just kind of living in that mindset, kind of really kept me locked in. And see, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I had this utmost poise to where I'm gonna just brush it off. Because it wasn't one of those brush off situations. This is. You gotta go through. I kind of went through every emotion, with dealing with this, So, just kind of also understanding that, this is a part of the journey, and they're saying the journey is definitely the reward, So just embracing, all this adversity and understanding that, this is a opportunity for me to come out on top, and I'm not there yet, but I'm definitely not where I was, So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I think as part of the journey, right, you have to deal with discomfort. And as part of discomfort, you have to be able to sit in that, right? It's hard. Like, it's hard because it doesn't feel good
at all.
And and in a way, I see a lot of people get hopeless real fast because these are things, because you can always just like be like, oh man, like I'm done, right? So, the way we're always trying to do it is like, okay, well, you can't do this yet. Let's just do the next thing, right? We get you to move your toes. We get you to move your ankles. Next thing you know, you're dribbling. Next thing you know, you're doing this, right? So we always have to like take it piece by piece. And I think that's how we have to approach life and sport, right? It's like basketball, one pass, one play at a time.
Exactly.
Right? There's only one ball, right? So you only one. So like you can be the best player, you can have 5 great players on the team, but one ball. Like what's gonna happen, right? So there's always lesson to be learned when it comes to with injury and with sport. Now obviously you work yourself back up, you'll be able to get back on the court. Then you have to deal with another adversity when it comes to not having that extra year that you were hoping for. So what was your mindset going through that after putting all that work in to get back on the court, and the next thing you know, shenanigans with the NCAA that force you to essentially like not be able to play?
Yeah, so it was a double whammy in the sense of like, so even with me not being able to get that extra year, that meant that I technically wasn't a student athlete anymore. So that I don't have an athletic scholarship anymore. So, trying to even, when that came about, it's like, man, how am I going to pay for school now? I've, all the schools that I went through throughout my whole life, if it was any tuition, I never paid. And that's not the good, but I just always kind of been in a situation that, my impact on the team was my leverage, so that was covered. But dealing with this now, I couldn't. My coach couldn't give me that athletic scholarship. Had to fill up the team, in other ways. And also, Division II is also different from Division I, so the budget is different.
Yeah.
But dealing with that, so at a point in time, honestly, Natty, I'm like, am I even going to finish my senior year to get my undergraduate? I was already supposed to graduate a year prior, but with me transferring to Morehouse, a lot of my credits didn't transfer over, so that prolonged my graduation clock even more.
Yeah.
So at this point, obviously I want to get back on the court, I want to get healthy, but more than anything, I just want to graduate.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough for some alumni, to look out for me and kind of get me through that year, helping me financially as well. So thankful for that. But also kind of like on the basketball side of things, after I got that 3rd rejection with the waiver, I'm not gonna lie, it pummeled me. Like I was extremely depressed. Like even kind of like when I first got down to Atlanta, just being a regular student, I didn't come around the team for at least a month and a half. Like really probably like the whole preseason, I wasn't around the team. And it wasn't because like I was bitter at them or bitter at the coaches. I was just hurt. Like, just being around it just amplified things, So I really just tried to focus on, just being Ibn, being a student and everything, and just kind of like trying to, come into my identity outside of basketball. But with that, it kind of came full circle that, yes, I'm a person and I'm an individual outside of basketball, but like, basketball is going to be, in my life forever. Whether I'm playing, whether I'm coaching, whether I'm observing, recruiting, whatever, it's going to be in my life forever. So it kind of, the saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. It was definitely a lot of that going on. So I was able to come back around the team, kind of, when I got situated emotionally and academically. And then I kind of worked as kind of like a student assistant, player development coach with the team over the year. Got in the gym with the guys, kind of just, watch film with them, just trying to enhance their game situations, to make the team better. So that was a really good experience, and I also got to travel with the team too. So it's essentially like nothing changed. I just wasn't on the court. Yeah. So yeah.
What did you take away from not being on the court? Like how were you able to show up for your team then?
I was able, and this what made me kind of really understand the impact and kind of the leader I am.
Mhm.
I've been a point guard my whole life. Point guards are just coaches on the floor.
Mhm.
So now with this time, with me not being on the floor, that didn't mean I wasn't a point guard or a player anymore. It just meant had to do it. From the sidelines.
Mhm.
So just realizing that and I was notorious for this as a player.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say certain things to certain players because I didn't know how they would take it,
Mhm.
or I didn't want it to come off like I was criticizing or just nagging. So I wouldn't say anything at all. I grew out of it as I got older and matured in the game, but definitely this past year it was just kind of like all gloves off. Because in a sense it's just like just like as a player, you just gotta have the mindset to crave criticism constantly.
Mhm.
Like you have to. That's the only way you're gonna improve. If no one is saying anything to you, then you should worry. That mean they don't care.
Yeah.
So just kind of embracing that full on and kind of understanding that a lot of the athletes kind of looked up to me in a sense and looked at me kind of as inspiration. Everything I got going on, I'm still showing up for them. I'm still trying to enhance them in any way possible. So kind of seeing that firsthand. Like I said with you guys, it just rejuvenated my spirit. It's like I really the saying everything happens for a reason, but and it's said kind of like in a lot of tough times, but when you could really be in a phase where you could understand it and it resonates, that's different. That's different. So just definitely the time I had with the team this past year, that definitely kind of resonated for me. Like I didn't go through all this for no reason. I'm just now I'm planting seeds and trying to watch them grow in different individuals. So
No, man, I love that approach, and this is what's great, right? Is people look at you the most when the chips are down. It's not like social media is really good at just amplify when things are good,
Right.
and people look like they have a perfect life, but really, I study people more when the chips are down, like how are they overcoming those things? Because at the end of the day, life's gonna get us one way or another, and it's how people handle adversity.
Right.
Again, going back to watching Kobe, like his last tour, he's covered in ice. Or when he tore his Achilles, walking back on the court to shoot free throw, bro. He just trying to set the tone.
Set the tone.
He was like, yeah. I mean, most people have been carry off. He was like, nah, I'm just gonna come in, hit this free throw, and then I'll walk out on my own. Right? Because people are always gonna look at that, and it's those moments when you're like when all the chips are down, and the way you rise to the occasion. That's what people will remember you by. Like, the good time, the winning streak, great, but it's the grind. I think every time when I meet up with my buddy from high school, longtime friend, we always talk about do you remember when we had to go through that? Those are something that I would say I cherish those kind of moments even more. I think some of the happy moment I have it's great, but the more meaningful one is always going through hardship with somebody next to you, your brother, your teammates,
Literally.
all that stuff.
It literally makes you guys closer.
Yeah.
Because it's like y'all went through that together. Y'all kind of felt the same way, but y'all got through it, man.
Yeah.
Y'all got out on the other side, and that's invaluable, man.
Yeah.
That's
So,
invaluable.
dude, talk me through about how you problem solve this whole thing to give yourself more opportunity, because I think this is it's extremely inspiring for me to hear.
Yeah. So kind of when the end of the season began to start approaching, I was rehabbing through the whole year. With the physical therapy at Morehouse, with the physical therapist at Morehouse. Shout out to my guy Dr. O, but and Wesley. Shout out to Dr. O and Wesley, but throughout the whole rehab process, I want to say I got cleared, for live action again, mid-February. So after that, I started kind of slowly getting back in with the team, practicing, Doing a lot of live drills with them, doing some, playing as the scout team, just to give them certain looks, so that definitely helped me a ton. And I was wild, trying to get back, on the skill side of things, sharpening those tools back up. But I want to say, as graduation approach, one of the alumni at Morehouse mentioned an opportunity to me to play kind of in the UK. Also, a coach, actually, assistant coach, Coach Pope at Morehouse. He also prior to that, he mentioned the opportunity for me to play in Canada. So I'm gonna tell you the comparison with the two. But Canada is kind of like here as far as like NCAA sanction. Like they pretty much carry their eligibility rules kind of like here. So the Canada route wouldn't have been an option as well. So now getting to the UK opportunity, now over there eligibility is completely different. So all you have to be doing is pursuing a degree to be able to play.
Okay.
So that definitely attracted me in the sense of like, man, I could get out the country, potentially get my master's, and I could get some film, So how I was looking at it initially, like worst case scenario, I'll leave with my master's, and I could get into my career after that, whatever the case may be. Best case scenario, I leave with my master's and some film where now I could could possibly set up to get another contract somewhere. So it ended up working out better than I expected in the sense of I'm gonna go to England. I'm gonna play with Bristol, University of West England, Bristol. So I'm gonna be playing with that university team while pursuing a business psych degree.
Yeah,
it's a 1-year program, but also the head coach there at UA kind of plugged me in with the local club team, Bristol Hurricanes.
Yeah.
So I've had multiple conversations with the club owner. He's actually from Lithuania too. So big basketball country.
Huge.
So that definitely, just like I said, it just started attracting me even more. Just the conversations, their experiences and everything. So we ended up working out a deal where I could play with the uni team and I could play with the club team.
Wow.
The club teams plays every Saturday. The uni teams plays every Wednesday. But the uni team season doesn't start until mid-October. The club team season starts end of September.
Wow. So
I have some time to space those out. But like I said, the opportunity ended up working out better than I expected. I'll be able to get paid with the club team, and also the club team is going to cover my tuition, get my master's. So is it an ideal, route to try to get overseas? No, it's not. But not even like I've been saying, like I've been kind of learning, and these past 2 years especially has kind of made me realize this, but it made me realize how far I've came and why I've came this far.
Yeah.
Came this far from a children's game.
Yeah.
Literally from a basketball game.
Yeah.
Millions and billions of people play all over the world. And it's took me to meet so many, great individuals, but also so many great opportunities, and just kind of having that approach with it, man, it's like, trust your process, don't compare it, your process is your process at the end of the day, so it really kind of made me kind of embrace that before I head on.
No, dude, I mean, what I love about that is that every single professional athlete that I get an opportunity to talk to, no one's path looked the same. No one ever had a straightforward path, right? I mean, even if you look at first rounders and all that stuff, the path might be, kind of a straightforward, but really there's always ups and downs. But people don't talk about that, right? And I think it's the way you pursue things, right? If you have a goal in mind, that's all you need to focus on, and how you get there, that's up to you. And you mentioned God earlier. It's the same way where you just don't know how it's going to pay out for you. You don't know the plan, right? Only God knows the plan, and your job is to just trust the process. I mean, that's the whole point of having faith, right? Having faith is trusting the process despite not knowing the outcome. because that's all we really have. And I think this path is gonna be great for you, man, because the fact that you get to go overseas, the overseas market for basketball is huge.
Right.
Great opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
We have worked with a couple players who play in France, and that's big over there,
It is.
right? People just think that basketball is NBA is the gold standard, but we're not even thinking about all the other team out there, right?
Right.
You want to go where you feel value,
Right.
and at the end of the day, if your goal is to play this game that you love for as long as possible, you got to go where
Exactly.
you're gonna feel value, and then you're gonna have that opportunity,
Exactly.
right? If you just keep hanging on to like, it's NBA or nothing, then that might be short lived, right? But you say, hey, it's basketball, and I'll just take whatever's come my way, and I'll keep playing the game that I love. Now you're opening up,
Right.
different field. I did a podcast with one of the professional baseball player, Frank Swindell.
Okay.
He was ready to hang up the cleats like the week before, and then he got the call to go up to the major league, and he's been doing that for minimal like 8 years. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just grinding it through until you get that call. I mean, the Lakers always do that one thing where they call that old dude. You know what I'm talking about? That one guy. Yeah.
That one guy who's been removed from the league.
Yeah.
He's just like, he just have a ton of experience. He's a vet.
And then
Great
you're like, all right,
locker
let's
room guy. Yeah.
and then let's just bring him up, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's why you play the game, because
Exactly.
that's what you love.
Exactly.
That's amazing, man. So when are you like what's the schedule? When are you going over there?
So I'm leaving August 28th, end of this August, and preseason is gonna be like about the first 2 weeks of September,
Mhm.
and then like I said, the season pretty much starts like at the end of September. So kind of like we're right into like the Wilson thing. So over the summer, I've done a lot of camps, to kind of enhance, and nurture that coaching side of myself. But while doing that, also have a ton of gym access. And just been kind of just like I said, still sharpening those tools. Playing when I can, for that cardio, and just kind of lifting, but really with a focus on like strengthening like certain parts of like the weaker parts of my body. So like I was saying when we left off, like kind of like really trying to make my hips durable. Strengthening my tib areas, to get that deceleration back. And just also kind of working on getting out of those lateral movements, quicker as well.
Yeah.
So that's been great, man. I have no complaints in that department. On my injury, I definitely feel like a solid 9.5 out of 10. And the 0.5 is just for like some of the soreness, that comes, which is exerting all that force, sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's, I really just gotta prioritize that recovery that much more. But other than that, you were just talking about, how so many opportunities come when individuals try to hang it up.
Mhm.
And it's literally all of that. It's literally like that. If you stay rooted kind of in that mindset, like you're one decision, you're one choice away from everything you want.
Yeah.
You just gotta keep showing up with the behaviors that's gonna attract those opportunities.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people fall short because they why they may think like that, it doesn't follow up with the behaviors and the habits. So they think things are just supposed to come.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. So just staying rooted in that. Staying around a lot of great and like-minded individuals, to keep my spirit up. And also to like remind me who I am, because when you go from that's like relatively being the first, and I'm talking about myself right now. When you go from relatively being like the first, second option on your team, playing 40 minutes a game, and now you come back and you're not like a grad assistant. You're still an undergraduate trying to graduate. And like I said, like the things, like the stuff that happened with the eligibility, left a bad taste. So even coming around the team, I kind of felt weird at first.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like a player.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not about to carry the bags to the game or little things, stuff like that. But great quote. If service is beyond you, then leadership is.
Yeah.
So kind of understanding and realizing it's not about like me having to do like this little thing. you know, it's about the fact that I get to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it, like that mindset. You know, definitely has to shift at some point. You know, for I think not athletes, but you know, individuals. You don't have to do it. You get to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Dude, I love to leave it off at that. I mean, to lead is to serve. That's 100%. Ibn, man, thank you so much for your time, bro, for sharing all what you went through and some lesson. I think a lot of people are going to benefit from that.
Definitely.
I wish you nothing but the best. I'm so excited for your new opportunity. Yeah, I mean, how can people reach out and connect with you, man, if they want to ask some questions and stuff?
Yeah, you can follow me on IG. My name on IG is IBWill, 2 L's, 1. And then, yeah, you can follow me on IG. I'm not on Twitter. Yeah, just follow me on IG.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yo, thank you so much, bro.
Got you. You already know that.